Okay, this is video number 3. This one should be quicker, no drawings. I'm sure you're all heartbroken. Anyway, so I'm just going to go through and try to hit vocab. Be sure to read through the notes. I could miss something. I'm trying to say things that make sense while looking through this. So don't just count on the words that I'm highlighting or underlining. Anyways, um, the rest of the notes is about mutations, which could also be called gene alterations or altered genes. And this is going to be kind of a segue into Unit 2, Subunit 3, which is all about different mutations or gene alterations that typically affect people, but not exclusively people. So, on a basic level, gene alterations or mutations are either hereditary or acquired. So, before we go any further, think about what those two words mean. So, if you have a hereditary mutation, where did that come from? Versus an acquired mutation, where that might have come from. Pretty predictably, I think, at least with hereditary, they're passed on from your parents. So that is something that's inherited, again, heredity or hereditary. Also called germline mutations, and again, think germ cells with germline. And then acquired mutations are things that happen during the course of your lifetime after your zygote stage. So it didn't come genetically from your parents. Could have came from, you smoking cigarettes as an adult, or in getting, lung cancer, or being exposed to some sort of chemicals, or it could be about anything. But it happened not as a result of what you inherited from your parents. And I think that's probably all I wanted to say about those. Talking about some common forms of gene alterations. We're going to talk about more than this later, but insertions, deletions, and substitutions. We talked about how a lot of the vocab in this section makes more sense. What do you think's happening with an insertion? Something's going to be inserted or added. A deletion, we're taking something away. A substitution, like if you have a substitute teacher, there's a different adult making sure that you don't burn the place down. So again, please read through this. I'm not gonna read the entire packet to you because I don't feel like that's a quality use of your time. Other things that we're gonna talk about would be a frame shift mutation. So back to what we talked about with codons. If those codons, let me draw a couple codons here quick. Let's see, A, U, A, C, A, G. So if those codons are interpreted in series of 3, they're going to code for specific amino acids. So AUA is going to be a specific amino acid. CAG is going to be a specific amino acid. So if you have a insertion or a deletion that does not occur in a multiple of 3, so let's say we have an insertion of a cytosine. This codon is going to be the same, but now this one's going to be different. That's what it means by frame shift. Like imagine you draw a little picture frame around it. So that was the first one, and this should have been the second one. But because of this insertion, sorry, it was this one, wasn't it? Because of this insertion that wasn't supposed to be here, this frame now shifts that way. And now ACC is probably going to code for a different amino acid than GAC did. And so and now we have this random, what does this mean? We have this extra nucleotide. So that's what a frame shift mutation is if it's not in multiples of 3. Deletions and insertions that do occur in intervals of 3 are called in-frame deletions or in-frame insertions. So if that's a codon, this is a codon, this is a codon. If it's a deletion of, say, 3, and that just isn't there and it's supposed to be, this codon's going to be unchanged, so it's going to be the correct amino acid. This codon's unchanged, so it's going to be the correct amino acid. So that protein's going to be normal, except it's going to be missing one amino acid, which could still cause a significant problem for that person. We'll talk about evolution a lot in Unit 3, and a lot of theories on evolution actually depend on what's called point mutations, which is any one nucleotide error or mutation. So if it's just one single, so if you say, people that don't think that evolution occurs, oh, how does the thing change that fast? Well, if that one uh, nitrogen base is wrong, it's not, and it's supposed to be something different, it might code for a different amino acid and therefore make a slightly different protein, which may be more than likely that's going to be a bad thing. That's probably going to be a negative thing for that organism, but it could be positive. And maybe if that's a positive thing, that's how that organism evolves over time. And that's something that if we talk about this in class, depending on if we have school or whatnot, not all mutations are bad. We think of mutations as being bad, and this isn't to say that you're gonna have some sort of X-Men sort of mutation where you're shooting laser beams out of your eyes, but they don't have to be bad. We generally think of mutations as being negative, but they don't have to be negative. And so to wrap up this notes packet and to give you something to do tomorrow on your snow day, if that's the way things go, feel free to do this homework. So the homework for this is your homework for this subunit and next subunit, because like I said, subunit 3 is kind of rolled into this one. I'd like you to research a genetic disorder, preferably in humans, caused by an insertion, deletion, or substitution mutation. You could also search point mutations because that'd be any of those. It'd be one of those three. I'd like you to write a full page paper on whichever disease or disorder or syndrome you choose. And you don't have to just do the things that I talk about here, but I at least want these things. So the name of it, how it's caused, effect on a person that has it. So like, is it physical? Is it cognitive or mental? What is the effect on the person? Treatments or medications, depending on what it is, if that's an option. For some of the ones that you look up, it might be not available. Life expectancy could be normal life expectancy, could be 10 years old. A little bit of formatting. So again, full page, 12-point font. Don't cheat me. It's easy to tell when I'm looking at them on the computer, and I've looked at 15 other kids before yours. 1-inch margins, that's what it's set at. If you don't mess with your laptop, that's what it'll be. Calibri font, or if you use Times New Roman, I'd be okay with that too. Don't bold it. Again, don't get cheap on me. If you want to use different colors or font, if you really like your Comic Sans, you can put the name of the disease in your Comic Sans. But please don't make me read Comic Sans. If you want to include pictures, you can. In the past, I've had students who try to find the respectfully, I say, gnarliest disease that they can, as far as visually, because they want to include pictures. And then this website, again, you'll have to just freeze the video and type it in because I guess I could upload the packet still tomorrow. But anyway, so this is what I'd like you guys to do for the homework. I would say this in class if we were to say this in class. Avoid things like some cancers, autism, ADHD, Alzheimer's. Some of those things can have a genetic link, but it's not going to be a specific genetic disease where you're going to be able to find things that say exactly what causes it. So try to pick something that, again, you can find somewhere in your research that it calls it an insertion, deletion, or substitution, or a point mutation. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, and hopefully we'll see you sometime.